Hungary scored a major diplomatic victory this week as Prime Minister Viktor Orbán secured US exemptions from sanctions on Russian oil and nuclear projects following a crucial meeting with President Donald Trump in the Oval Office. Orbán proudly declared that Hungary will continue to enjoy the lowest energy prices in Europe, crediting the US for removing restrictions on the Turkish Stream and Druzhba pipelines, lifelines carrying Russian energy into Central Europe.
The first and most important thing is that we have managed to defend the cuts, so Hungary will continue to have the lowest energy prices in Europe. We have created all the necessary preconditions for this, which means, in concrete terms, that we have been granted full exemption from sanctions in the case of the Turkish Stream and the Druzhba pipeline. There are no sanctions that would limit the supply from there to Hungary or make it more expensive. This is a general and time-limited exemption from the nuclear cooperation issues we have agreed on. We have agreed that Westinghouse will be involved in Hungary's nuclear energy industry. This is a new thing.
Trump's decision effectively snubs demands from Brussels and Kyiv for Hungary to join the EU's Russian oil embargo. Instead, Orbán emerged with a one-year waiver, allowing full access to Russian crude and gas, calling it a victory for Hungarian families.
When we came here, we were in a lot of trouble. Were we up to our necks in water, or was it worse than that? We have now pulled ourselves out of that, so we are beyond that. Fortunately, this did not last long. A couple of weeks ago, the US announced the sanctions regime that it usually applies to Russian energy, regardless of which country is affected. We are not the first anymore. Other countries have also asked for some kind of exception. For example, there was one who asked for an exemption from a refinery under the Germans, to be precise. We would have been devastated by this general system of sanctions. To put this in perspective, from the end of November, every Hungarian household would have paid 2.5 to 3 times more for utilities than they did in October or November.
The agreement didn't stop there. In a surprise announcement, Orbán revealed that Trump also lifted US sanctions on Hungary's Paks 2 nuclear project, paving the way for American firm Westinghouse to supply nuclear fuel and modular reactor technology. Describing the deal as historic, Orbán said the partnership with Westinghouse would boost Hungary's nuclear independence while enhancing fuel safety and storage capabilities, a rare fusion of US and Russian-linked energy cooperation. Admitting the stakes were high, Orbán said Hungary had been up to its neck in water before Trump's intervention. Without the exemptions, he warned, household energy bills could have tripled by year's end. But even as Washington grants relief, Orbán signaled another battle ahead. This time with Brussels. We've pulled ourselves out of Washington's sanctions, he said.
I would not be thinking with other people's heads at home. What I can say now is that, just to be clear, that there is a US sanctions regime on the energy system, on the energy supply systems, and there is a Brussels sanctions regime, which we have just been discussing. That is, a US sanctions regime. We pulled ourselves out of it. The fight against the European sanctions regime, how we can get out of it, is another match. It will be fought in Brussels, and that will also take place sometime in December.
On Ukraine, Orbán offered Hungary's role in supporting US diplomacy, reiterating his belief that Ukraine cannot defeat Russia militarily, and that peace negotiations remain the only realistic path forward.